Methylene Blue. Now friends, I'm sure that by now most of you, if not all of you, have heard of Methylene Blue. It's all over the internet. Everyone from RFK to Joe Rogan to Andrew Huberman, everyone's talking about Methylene Blue right now. But it does have a lot of promising capabilities, if it lives up to its hype. Because technically, from 1876 on, methylene blue was derived to be a dye, a textile and fish tank dye. So can it really live up to the hype? Well, as always, I am doing whatever I can to help our community here at Healing Together and everyone else around the world to live a longer, healthier life in less pain. Now, briefly about me, if you don't already know, if you're new to the channel, I am 45 years old, a single father of 6. I run 3 active companies at this point. I have once had up to 5 active companies running symbiotically before my brain injury successfully. But after my TBI 8 years ago, when I got hit by the back end of one of my dump trucks from my construction company, I took about 500 pounds of steel directly to the frontal lobe. Well, now I live with a permanent TBI. Not only that, but 3.5 years ago, I had a spinal fusion and it did not work out as expected. Both of my legs are pretty much in permanent sciatic. I have numbness, tingling, and pain in my legs 24/7, and the only time I ever get a relief is when I take something. That's one reason why kratom has been such a blessing to my life. Now, I also live with a ton of nerve damage down my legs, up my spine, down my arms, in my neck, from 2 other car accidents, taking a knife to the elbow and a knife to the hand, as well as being a touring musician and guitarist and having arthritis in both hands. And as someone who has actively been in a lot of fights, I have had a lot of damage done to my hands. All my knuckles have been broken on both hands, and I have a lot of pain from basically my fingers to my toes. I'm not saying that for anyone's sympathy. I don't need anyone's sympathy. I don't feel bad for me, and I don't want you to feel bad for me. I'm telling you that so you know what I live with on a daily basis. And I'm also telling that so that you out there know that you are not alone. That there is someone like myself who can understand what you go through in your chronic, daily, habitual pain. I'm only 45, and I try to stay in the best shape that I can, but 90% of that is the way that I eat. It's because I've been a bodybuilding and addiction recovery coach for over 25 years. I'm turning 46 in August, so that means I'll be coaching for 27 years soon. That's pretty crazy to think. But as a single father of 6, 5 under the age of 18, I have to have some type of energy in me or I can't keep up with my kids. And that's not something I'm willing to do. I'm going to keep up with my kids. Now, methylene blue is actually one of the first and the oldest synthetically made compounds or substances, whatever you want to call it, that is actually FDA approved for certain uses. It's been around longer than just about everything, even Joe Rogan. I'm just kidding, Joe, I love you to death. But some of the benefits of methylene blue are said to be a lot of neurotransmitter function, to increase serotonin levels, to help fight against things from cancer to Alzheimer's, anti-aging properties, traumatic brain injuries, neurotransmitter dysfunction. It's even used as a disinfectant, which makes sense. But it's commonly known to be used in hospitals to check after a surgery if an organ has been punctured. For instance, if someone has undergone surgery on an organ, they would use methylene blue inside that organ to see if the dye would be released and if there was a puncture of that organ. One of the main benefits of taking methylene blue is supposedly within neurotransmitter function. It's supposed to help with neurotransmitter function and health. And after suffering a major TBI, I'm hoping that that is something that does benefit me. Now, another interesting part about methylene blue is that it works directly on the mitochondria. And if you don't remember science class back in high school or middle school or I don't know, wherever it was, mitochondria are essentially responsible for the energy production of the cells within the body. I need some of that. In fact, I could use a lot of that, and I'm sure you could too. But here's the problem. Here's the big kicker with methylene blue. Most of it is garbage. It's just pure dye. In fact, we're finding that a lot of these claims of being pharmaceutical grade methylene blue, such as a lot of your common products found on Amazon, are nothing more than just dye. So it'll turn your mouth blue, it'll turn your urine blue, other excretions blue, but it's not actually working on anything in the body. It's just dye. And you, my friend, are getting scammed. So as always, I did my research, and I researched, and I researched. And I've been researching for the last month on methylene blue before jumping into that realm, just like I do with everything else. And just like the reason I make all our videos on kratom and 7-OH and everything else, so that you have all the information before you start your journey on something new. So I turned to Google and ChatGPT and, of course, YouTube. And I watched and read everything I could. And I decided that there was really only one brand or company that stood out to me from the rest, and that was a company called Troscriptions. Now, this is not a sponsored video. I have not contacted Troscriptions. They have not contacted me. I purchased this, my first package of Methylene Blue, with my own money, and this was $90 shipped to my door. So this is a 100% completely unbiased review. This is a user review. This is someone who is very experienced with supplementation. I have been using supplements, testing supplements, even engineering some supplements for close to 20 years now. And as always, you guys know, I journal everything. That is why I have years and years and years built up of anecdotal evidence to prove my claims, if I make any. I'm hoping that I will be able to make some type of claim after I don't know what I'm going to get out of this actually. Depends on how much I use. But after this round, this package, I'm hoping I will be able to make some claims after just going through this package alone. Because again, this is $90. This is not going to last a month. It may last 2 weeks, but still, if it improves the quality of my life, this is worth it. And by the way, it's been requested that I try and check out many other supplements. So if you guys would like me to try a certain supplement or a certain brand, reach out to us at coachhardgainz@gmail.com, and then we can tell you where to send that product, and I'd be happy to try it out. I'm kind of a guinea pig for everything. I'm willing to try anything that potentially could improve the quality of our lives. So back to Troscriptions and why I decided to go with them specifically. This seemed to be one of the higher quality products as far as I could tell. The voice of the company is a guy called Dr. Scott. We'll link one of their videos in the description. And I like his approach to just about every video I've watched. He's very objective, he's very informative, and he seems very experienced, obviously, as I would hope, in this area. And I can't say that about any other brand that I came across. So that stood out to me first. Well, let's just get this package open. All right. So again, this was $90. And what it is a 3-pack of what's called Just Blue. This is strictly Methylene Blue. Should be. So, yep, just Methylene Blue. Nothing else in here. So obviously the active ingredient is Methylene Blue. So let's see what the other ingredients or inactive ingredients are. Techna 20SF, polyethylene glycol, stevia extract, Luhan guo extract, not bad, peppermint, not bad, bitter block. I guess that's just a product. Yeah, it's a trademarked product, so it's probably just to obviously block the bitterness. And glycerin. Well, it's gelatinous. Well, there's one more thing in here. Okay, it's just a cold pack. So this package came from Illinois, and I'm in Pennsylvania. So you know what? At least they shipped with a cold pack. Because I can tell you with many other refrigeration needed products, especially within the kratom industry, like refrigeration needed 7OH, they don't even ship with a cold pack. At least these guys shipped with a cold pack. That's a good start. It's called a buccal troche. Feel the blue magic in 15 to 20 minutes if used as a troche. That means that you just insert it between your lip and your gum like you would as I have a little nicotine lozenge in my mouth right now, or a pouch. All right, so the first thing is I see that the package is childproof. Has these 2 tabs, like you can't just slip the package out. Has 2 tabs you push in, push it up, and there you go. That's it. In each box there are 4 full troches. Each troche is divided into 4 sections, which is 4 milligrams of Methylene Blue, which means that each troche is 16 milligrams of Methylene Blue. The minimum suggested dose is 1/4, which is 4 milligrams. I would not want to exceed more than 16 milligrams per day, because in that case, this is only 4 days worth of Methylene Blue. Well, if it's worth it, it's worth it. I mean, I'd be lying to you guys if I didn't say I was a little skeptical. Because of how many supplements I have tried over the years that did absolutely nothing, I'm also someone whose various receptors have been either overused, saturated, or abused over the years, especially with things that do operate on and affect the neurotransmitter function of the brain. So I don't know if this is really something that is even going to affect me or I'm even going to feel. Now, I do want to let you guys know that this is not a sponsored video in any way. I paid for this with my own money. I paid $90 for a 3-pack shipped. I think it was like $89.74 or something like that. For 3 packs shipped to my door. It came very quickly, I will say that. I was surprised to receive it today. But I have not been in contact with anyone from Troscriptions, and no one from Troscriptions has reached out to me. Although if this is a good quality product, I'd be happy to work with them. But we'll see. So friends, stay tuned for my full-length review as I go through these packages. What I intend to do is I'm going to give you a first day user review, and then a first package user review, and then a second package user review, and then a wrap-up of 3 packs. Then, if it's something that does work and I see improvement with, I intend to keep going. But if it's something that has not benefited me in any way after 3 packs, I'm going to stop. And then I would love to try another product, but the problem is I haven't even found a close second of a Methylene Blue product that I believe would be quality, or at least actual pharmaceutical grade Methylene Blue. So friends, stay with me as I try this Methylene Blue hype out, and I will give you guys my honest, no BS feedback, as I hope you all know by now. Because again, remember the main goal of this entire channel, this community, this platform, Healing Together, is so that we all together can live a longer and healthier life in less pain. And that's why we are healing together. All right, friends, stay tuned. I'll catch you next video.